So the source for this explainer kicks off with a really bold claim right there in the title. It says that you, yeah, you, listening to this right now, are already a brand. And the wild part, it's happening whether you know it or not. Right out of the gate, the source just drops this on you. It's designed to make you stop and think. Because this isn't some fluffy marketing term. The whole argument here is that branding is a basic, fundamental part of being human. I mean, you've probably felt this, right? You're trying to manage your job, your friends, what you post online. And it can all feel kind of disconnected, like you're just bouncing from one thing to the next without any real plan. Okay, but here's the twist from our source. That feeling of randomness, it's an illusion. You're not just floating around in chaos. You are an active participant, even if you don't realize it, in a system of value exchange that is literally as old as humanity. So how do we start to see this hidden system? Well, the source uses a really powerful and maybe a little surprising analogy that pretty much everyone can get: courtship. Now, just look at how this is broken down. The source is essentially framing courtship as the original sales funnel. And this isn't meant to sound cold or cynical. It's about seeing the pattern underneath. So courtship is basically prospecting for potential partners. Then dating is the testing phase. You're communicating your value, they're communicating theirs, you're seeing if it's a match. A commitment is like a contract, right? It has real terms and consequences. And marriage? The source calls that a full-on brand partnership, where two personal brands decide to team up for the long haul. And this is the crucial point. According to the source, this isn't just a weird modern thing. These skills, the ability to persuade, to position yourself, to communicate what you bring to the table, are absolutely fundamental. They've been key to human connection and even survival for thousands of years. All right, so let's zoom out a bit from just dating. The big idea that powers all of this is reputation. The source argues that your reputation is the real currency in pretty much every human interaction you have. And this is how it works. Think of your reputation like a bank account. Every good, reliable thing you do is a deposit, and that trust you build actually compounds over time. But the reverse is also true. One bad move can be a massive withdrawal, and that damage can stick around way longer than you intended it to. This isn't just for business, it's for your friendships, your family, your career, everything. And this is it. If you take away one single thing, it should be this. Every choice you make, big or small, from what you post online to how you treat a cashier to the job you take, every single one communicates something about you, about your character, your values, your brand. So you might be thinking, okay, if this is so fundamental to being human, why does it feel so new? Why on earth weren't we taught this stuff in school? Well, the source points to a pretty major gap in our traditional education. This slide just lays out the mismatch perfectly. School often teaches us theory in a bubble, right? There are no real-world consequences. It separates learning from real life. But reality demands we understand how the world actually works, that we're basically marketing ourselves every day with our behavior, and that every choice we make sends a message. You know, the source argues the issue isn't that people lack intelligence. Think about it. A kid might be failing history, but be an absolute genius at mastering the TikTok algorithm. That's an incredibly complex skill, but our traditional systems are terrible at recognizing it. The source calls this unrecognized skill expression, when our real-world abilities just don't get valued. Okay, so if the system isn't built to recognize our skills, what do? The source says the answer isn't about changing the system. It's about changing our role within it. It's about going from being an unconscious player in the game to a conscious, deliberate one. It's about taking control of your own story. And the source proposes this clear 4-step path to do it. First, just reveal it. Acknowledge the things you're already doing without thinking. Then, make it visible. Actually look at the patterns in your actions. Once you see the pattern, you can make it deliberate. You can take the wheel and choose your actions with intent. And finally, the most important step, make it responsible. Use that control to create good outcomes for yourself and others. And the payoff for making the shift is huge. You stop feeling like things are just happening to you, and you start to own your own narrative. You're not just reacting, you're consciously managing your reputation. You stop hoping people notice your worth and start communicating it yourself. You actually start creating the outcomes you want instead of just chasing likes and approval. This really gets to the heart of the diagnosis. The source suggests that when people fail, it's often not because they lack talent or don't work hard. It's because of a blind spot. It's because they don't see themselves as an active player in this constant, ongoing exchange of human value. And here's the best part. This isn't about learning 1,000 complicated new rules. It's about one single powerful shift in how you see the world. The source claims that once this idea truly clicks for you, everything changes. And what happens after that click? Your sense of personal agency comes roaring back. You realize you're not just a passenger in your own life, you're in the driver's seat. And with that power comes a much deeper, more meaningful sense of responsibility for your own life. So we'll end with this final question from the source. It's something to really sit with. Right now, today, in your career, in your relationships, in your life, is your story just happening to you, or are you the one telling it? The choice, it turns out, is yours.